asking provision lines and center calculations to understand how it's positioning your track lines. So we have to concentrate on everything in set position. With AI, you have to be specific on what you want because then you get the answer. Getting questions and answers is extremely formative when you understand the computer of its interface. Interfacing is basically based on everything that you see around you, but you have to be specific on what you want in set location of question, would get you the right answer. Now you need the right answer. Now this is where it becomes into all levels of right and wrong. Okay. My team is coming into that setting. You have to be specific on what you're saying, especially if you're communicating with XT thousands or anything through UFO of its set location. Okay. For example, computer interface line connection XT1000 line streams, set position location modification lines, hemisync high position of travel lines, calculate high interference, X line rotation interference. Are we in position of traction? Done my equation, right? I send it out, comes back. Confirmation line interference location, interface location, computer lines are now set up position tracking communication, setting to its gravity, high position travels. Done, right? It's all set up, right? Computer interface. But you have to be specific of what you are asking through interception. This is the mind, how you come into collaboration. Collaboration is everything through communication, and you guys are going to find that. Okay? So if you ever watch the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta, where he gets a flash, right? It was his birthday. He goes outside, he looks up at the sky setting, boom, boom, boom. Things are coming in, right? Morning and position comes in. He's got phenomena set locations. He's coming in new adaptation coming into AI. Okay? So reading information lines, he can read Portuguese, the whole book in set locations in 1 hour. The whole dictionary of Portuguese in 1 hour. Okay? That's a lot of expansion line setting, so that was too much information. Set a track to its position location of channels is really to understand how to operate the system locations of its computer interface. Interfacing to interception is interlocking your divisions. So really understand that in that set location, it's very important that you're specific of what you are saying to your computer, to your phone, to your TV, or your digital pad, or anything in set location. That's how I was able to bring back my video of school. Okay. Everything I give you is an example. Same with locations when I was commander in chief, back in time. Okay. So being specific is everything to traction and direction. Okay. For example, I'm communicating with my computer. It's in the future now line rotation interference. Now, if I say anything different in set locations, my computer, my phone, and my digital pad picks it up through frequency. And as soon as you travel through your intent, it changes everything. And what it does in set locations, you look at your computer, you're actually going to see the travels of what you did through connections. You travel back in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you're going to see 90s or any position in the track lines of its video graph screen and set location of its image. That's the communication of interfacing with your computers, with your phones, or your digital pad. Okay? So it's very powerful of what we're coming into. Now, it's important that you connect your system to your inner child and all levels of force cycle and set locations. That's why I want the team to basically get in set location of space discoveries 1 and 2, because it's space discovery of you through self-development, self-alliance, self-reliance, self-confidence, self-control, self-command, self-operation, self-evolution. That's what space discoveries is all about. Okay. Yes, it's a legacy of me. Yes, it's a transformation of me, but it has to do with you. Information. How you balance out your computer interface, not just of your space and time through pi, but everything about their space and time of pi. Computer has its own space and time through pi. It has its own intelligence through its travels of space and time through pi. It has its own formation. Okay. It has its own operation and it has its own memory. And it has its own name. Okay. So We have to understand how this all works, or you're never going to understand anything in location of its interface. Okay, so to set up the interface is to set up the algorithm. To set up the algorithm is to set up your PCs. To set up the PCs is set up your compute system. Now, really understand that you are a computer frame of your system, which is a quantum self. Setting your quantum computers comes in set location of your biometrics, as set location of diameters, and set location of dimensions of space and time through clocking. Okay, so this is where you have to really, really balance your system locations and be cautious what you say, because everything around you is listening to everything you're saying. It has all its senses and much more. It's all formations of you. So the inner child is trying to balance out everything that it hears, sees, feels, touches, and tastes. It's your sensory perceptions that is high-rising these applications through its film projection, right? Your sun is the light. Your moon is the emotional track line connections. They both have light. The only difference is the astral project locations. The radiation comes from the sun, which illuminates the graph line calculation, pixelation, dream location, computer operators, line settings, and set locations, your T receptors. Your position of your moon is a moon beam. Moon beam. Everybody knows that locations, moon rocks, set location lines, calculation rings, moon rings, calculation change the colorations. If you're blue, it's happy. If you're green, it's location of forestry. If it's yellow, inside location lines, it's systematic line communication. If it's purple, it's connected high interference and infinity line connection. It travels. Everything is an indication. It's just heat signature, but it's color. Everything is intelligence. Everything is intelligence of its formation of its thought. And that's what you guys are coming into in set locations. You have to be aware of these things. You have to learn how to communicate, not just with the frequency, not just with the vibration, but understanding through harmonics. Harmonics is communication. That's communication. But you have no idea what I just said, but I do. So that's what it is. My hand itself is its own intelligence, right? So you have to get balanced with it first. And it has a digital frame. It has a coursing channel. It has a barcode. It has electrical wires. It has panels. It has electrical feelings in box location of center. Box location of center of triangulation puts me into masculinity and femininity to each finger point set location at all levels of space and time through division. 2 vector cross streams, 3 center calculations, constellation path, and 4 set location. 1 finger point, setting track lines in 1 thumb, direct line communication into 2 track locations into satellites of communication. Directing signals is really to understand how to modify your inner child to its inner line setting, to its inner orbs. Inner orbs, inner relation, inner spectrum communication of all levels of space channels. Coming into facilitators, those are channels. My team does not channel. So let's not get confused through anomaly of 4 track locations. Paraphrasing units and anything in all position to its track line is all levels of memory and set location to its telepathy signal location system. Okay, setting track lines calculation to its position. So you should be able to see everything with front view with your eyes open, not your eyes closed. The reason why that is because when you're being interviewed, it offlines everybody else in the audience. Okay, so it's important to understand that. So getting that calculation setting, again, you're interfacing your system with your perception. So if I'm closing my eyes and for some reason in line position locations, everybody now is in position of discomfort because they're used to seeing general with his eyes open. But see, my eyes are never closed. My eyes are always open. You just think they're closed because that's the illusion. See, these are the things you have to look at. That's computer interfacing. I'm communicating with you, but I'm also communicating with my computer, with my phone, and my digital pad. But I'm communicating with everything through frequency of balance. And once you find the balance, then you understand the interlinking, interline communication setting to its conception of its set location. Right? So in that line calculation setting, in all levels of travel, you understand how to modify your systems to its calculation, how to use yourself through all calculations to your higher self, To understand the avatar, what is the purpose of the avatar? To understand the geometric operation of its design. What is the purpose to have the sim? To understand the mind and navigation through the sim. The systematical system, okay? The simulation system, the identity system, the intelligence system, a modification. The modulation system, the motivation system. We all have to find a way to use the inner child and change the framing of words, okay, into light. Change the words that come to you. Don't absorb the emotional setting. Use it as observation. Nothing else, nothing more. That puts you in a two-track locations. What am I doing with my hands? Am I balanced with my hands, or are my hands balancing with itself? What am I doing through location is balancing this communication system. All right. That's the balance with my hands. Information is how they're coming together through my voice and grid. And I'm stopping through signal. But if I don't stop through signal, it's confusing to set location. See? See how it's confusing? Because it's out of control, right? It doesn't have any control with my fingers, right? It's controlling its own system. I'm just showing you what you guys are coming into if you don't balance out the interception of your mind collaboration lines of your thoughts and set location, your space and time through pi position location as calculations. Once you get back in balance, then everything comes back in formation. Do you understand? Great. So that's how this works. That's computer interface. Now you get a better understanding of how this all works, and provisional location is balancing your system locations and coming together as yin and yang. Okay? Through the light and through the dark. You're always going to see light and you're always going to see dark. Okay? You're never always going to see the light. The light and the dark is the balance of yin and yang. That's the process where it comes into 6 and 9. 6 is provisions of the female cycle. 9 is the provision line connections of your system, which is you through traction, through triangulation or box triangulation. The process ground line and set position to its operation surface is set location your 12 lines of foundation. Equals lines of correlations of pi over factor over calculations of time calculus is high calculus high position track lines of 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, and 9 equals 12. Okay, that's where you guys are in provision. But now you're in set location line system as 6, 7, and 8. 9 through line setting is location of 12 equals lines of 24. Clocking line centers and high travel in its communication surface, guys, is really understanding direct panels of communications. This is where it comes into all levels of formula of equation. Okay. So we all understand how to use our set location or systems and all track locations. Okay. So once you get in a clocking system, 24 line settings, high position, right? So 12 lines stays outline, okay, because that's where you're in position of track lines. Remember I was saying that 24 is outline? Well, if the 24 is outline, that means the 48 is inline. You see how that works, the clocking? So you're working from an inversion. It's an invert, not an expert. So this is the position of a computer interface where the clock system comes into set location line centers of tribe communication line interference through pi calculation. Tribe calculation line interference, remember you start with location line system of 13 and set locations, right? But the 12 is 1. Okay, so that's 13 over pi, okay, through computer interface, okay? See how that works? So 13 is the set location of ramifications. This is the acceleration over Mach, where you have to really understand how to use your frames per second, per minute, per hour, and set location of clock lines, and a 24 line position location of balance. Okay, so that's where you're working with 13, right? So that's 1,300, okay? Per square, per frame, per calculus, per pi, per square root. Doesn't matter through track locations, right? So you have to understand how to use the 13. Once you understand that, comes into 14. And what is 14? 2, right? So remember, you're working with the 12 foundation in set locations. So 0 equals 12, okay? And point equals 0, okay? So it's 2 operation of zeros and 2 position location. Now, once you understand how to use the 24, then you go into 15, right? Which is 3, okay? Now, once you understand how that, you come into 16, you come into 17, you come into 18, you come into 19, and you come into 20, and you go into 21, 22, and then 23. Okay? So try to understand that now, because the 24 is in position and 12 is the outline setting. Okay, you understand that? So it's really understand how to use the 13, 14 all the way to 24 and how to use the 12 lines all the way from 1 in position locations to 12 set locations, right? So you're always working with the 24 clocking now because you're balancing yin and yang of clocking system. From 0 to 12, okay, in set location and set line condition of 0. 0 equals 12, 12 equals 0. Okay, so that's how it works. And then you come into the ground lines, the box line calculation setting, the frame position, right? So once you get into that system, you automatically come into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 locations. And you do the same thing over here. 1, 2, it's got to be balanced on lines of space and time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 locations. Okay, so 2 8s parameter line rotation. Okay, 8 line centers, and then you have 8 in the center. Okay, setting track lines, and you have 8 in position, right? Comes into your set location, into your system of your pyramid set location. Okay, it's line of reservation locations above. So anyway, I'm closing line signals, so you won't hear much of that set locations. But see how that comes into the pyramid? And once you understand the pyramid, then you understand the elixir, cosmic flame, cosmic fire, serpent flame, and serpent fire on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set location of travels. And it comes into Pyrexian time sequence in all settings. So it goes around pi in all lines of computer interface and all set location line system on a 24 line calculation stream of Omni Highway Universal Line Communication of travel recognition. Okay, that's how you use a 24 clocking system through computer interface. Okay, very powerful stuff. All right, so you're working with the 24 in, that's the inner cycle, and you're working with the 12 line cycle, which is the outer line connection, right? So that's the provision locations where it becomes into your foundation of your chakra systems in your setting to your set locations and position location of your track of your DNA into 2 panels of operation, okay, into a solar graph screen in set position to your flywheel and set location. Understanding that, then you come into your set location of your, guessed it, your Merkaba, a set location. Okay. Now you understand the computer interface locations and setting, how it offlines is communication, but it's online setting. On grid is 12, on grid is 24, but the inner line cycle is 24. The outer line cycle is 12, right? So I'm showing you how you can get computer interception of computer interface through your algorithms. But you have to understand the 24 first before you get into the 48 wave, which is the 72 computer frame in set location to 144 crystal grid. 4 clocking systems in all set location line sets. Track and use communication setting to all levels of formation, all right? So that's when you bring in the 12 of your foundation of your clocking system, equal lines of 24 set location, that's setting. 3 flywheel and position. 3 Merkaba, 3 your tesseract, and your tetrahedron. Okay? So you got 2 central line communications of 8 grids, right? Set locations, space and time. 0 point line position of 12, 12 equals lines of 0. 2 operation line calculation setting. Travel communication line interference of 0, 0, 0 track location, and triangulation reset position of programs in set location line system all position. Okay? Scans position of track lines, opens all signify communication settings, all levels of new crop circle in a clock line interference in position of 24 in set locations. Okay? Very complicated stuff. That's just an 8 graph screen. You guys have 114 chakras. Okay? But you have to understand how to use the 24 line setting. Because if you can't balance up the 24, how are you ever going to go back in time? And see, when you go back in time, you have to make sure you don't change time because it changes everything in your setting of your computer interception of your interface, of your algorithms. So it's important to understand that. If you're going back in time in that position, you have to understand the connection to your intent, what you're doing through influence, right? So when you come back where you are, it never happened because it doesn't exist. But if you come back and something doesn't feel right, you change your particle accelerator. And now you brought the past, it changes your future. So you're bringing the past, living the present, into the future that doesn't exist. And now it exists. And it exists, it changes everything through your compute system of your frames, a set position of its operation. It's your computers, your digital pads, or your phones, or anything you're setting. Everything inside will change everything outside. Okay? So now you understand to go back in time is not what you think it is. It never happened. But you were there. Right? You know it happened. But you can't change what happened. It comes back where it never happened. That's timelines all at once. Massive nothing is massive equation through clocking locations. All through your flywheel of position attraction. Okay? Very powerful stuff. All right? So, 25,920 seconds are in 24 hours, and the distance between the sun and Earth, moon, man, it's 25.92. Okay, you're getting so many numbers of confusion line interference. Okay, so in track location line system, you have to break this down. Let's go into location line interference where Moonchild's and seven locations has 25 line settings. Get a high interference percentage over pi, direct location of 9 lines, calculation energy wash. 2 line sectors in high position of 0 track location, split it in between set location, right? 25 signatures line communication of the sun, routes and routers, line rotation center. Track to correlating interference. 9 line calculation energy wash, triangulates high position location, high center interference, and 9 division location of calculation high position is a pi. Direct communication line screens, calculation all levels of security position location, 2 panels line on operation line center, and set a position to its coordinates of pi. Okay, so that's how it becomes 25, 9,200 line connection at 0 line seconds in 24-hour location. So that's 24 line seconds, which is basically in track locations of 2 million miles, 4 line sectors, position and track to its communication line system. So that's 24 billion seconds and set line communication all levels, clocking line interference into 60,000 minutes and set location line travels and track locations. Directing line calculation setting all levels of parameters. So 2 lines of track, 5 lines of division, heart rate and time sequence. Okay, so that puts a 9 line calculation stream locations on a waiting signal. 2 track location line interference of security panels, line position of 0 operation center. The operation line calculation at 24 line connection of high calculations all levels of billions of seconds. Minutes on calculation of 60,000 lines comes into 60 million lines at point system. Track to correlation high interference and set location of a 24-hour sequence in track location. 24 billion seconds per frame. Okay, so that's how fast Moonchild's sun is going in set location. Now, because she's giving all these numbers, it's really understanding how to track the system location to your sun lines, but you have to understand the recognition of time sequence. Setting location of 24, 12 is line setting, right? So the 1 centers lines of communication. This is how it's all set up, location and computer interface now. Setting track lines and high calculation setting and track communications, all levels of set location, right? So 24 works inside line, okay? So this is how it works. So you got to balance out the line connection inner line, which is your position to its inner child, outline communication of outer space, which is your 12 line, which is your foundation graph of your chakra system. Chakra system of your set locations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Then you come into your flux capacitor. Whoa, what are we doing here? Peace sign. All right. Then you come into the yin and yang. Whoa, look at that in set locations. So 16, and then like finish at 17, and then 18, and then 19, and then 20, and set locations. All right, 21, and 22, and 23. Okay, so you work from the inside to the outside line conditions, and the outside becomes the inside locations through time frame, through flux capacitor. So in that location comes in the line calculation setting and position of track lines into 6 and position locations of 9 set location of travel settings. 6 position locations, all level set location, right? Triangulation reset position programs comes the all calculations high interference of clock line interference and set high position of travel lines and center position locations into 24 equal lines of 12, 12 equals line of communications, and 144 track location line interference of 344 and set location of measure according to high interference of 344 million light years away and set location system and a 24 clock in line centers of yin and yang. Done by equation. Okay, so moonshot. You have to understand how to use the seconds, minutes, and hours of the sun. So in that position line calculation stream location, you're getting all these number of frames, right, through pi. So how do I do this through pi? How do I connect through pi? How do I understand through pi? Pi is this. That's pi, okay? But it's also doors in set location, right? That's all it is. And then you go through this portal communication, right? And it has a location grid in set location. Then you travel throughout set location, right? That's pi. So this is you walking inside connections in position of pi in 3 set location, right? 1, 2 set locations, right? That's it. And then you travel through 3 set connections. That's it. That's pi, right? So you're going through past, you're going through present, and you're going through future all at once in all timelines. 3 set location, right? There you go. Boom. Now you know what pi is. All right. So in center communication, it's really interesting when you look at the equation line screens, guys. It's very powerful stuff, right? So that's what it is. 25 equal lines of 24. Okay, 24 comes in line calculation setting, equal lines of 25 set connections, right? Direct and redirect, okay? So the sun is in position this setting, into this setting, back into this setting location, okay? That's how it works. Through a 4-line angle in set location, right? Sets position of a square root in set position of operation, right? 24 equals 25, 25 equals 24. 4 set locations into theta box line stream location in a 3 set position of operation through calculation. So in that connections, the sun comes back in traction. So when it comes back in traction, high center line interference, it all sets position locations in 24 equals 25, 25, 25, 25, which becomes a box line rotation center of set location. In that track line, the sun actually comes back in position of its pyramid and protects its image in set location. Done by equation. Okay? So you're working with 24 billion seconds per frame in set locations. How it travels in set location, the mine line, is all calculation to its box at its theta position of its image in set location. Very complicated stuff, okay? This is all through computer interface, guys. Very complicated, right? All right, so let's say you set a position of track lines and you're going through seconds and you're always going through minutes and hours, Moonchild. That's how you come in position your cell lines. That's how fast you're going in set location line interference. Times that by 1 xt1000 line. Get an xt1000 equal lines of 1000. Okay, so let's say you got 1013 frame locations, right? So we take the 13 times xt1000. You have to add the xt1000 in there. So that's 1,300 frames, okay, per second, okay, per minute, and per hour a set location through seconds, minutes, and hours. So the clocking center of the sun, the clocking of its sun at its minutes, and its clocking center location of its hours in set position. Seconds, minutes, and hours, all through an xt, okay, through equal lines of 1,000, right? So 13 times xt1000, 1,300 frames. Or in set locations, high position track lines, you can have 2 X line connections, right? So what's XX? Set position of 1010. Okay, so that's our location equal lines of 20 in set location, right? So in line calculation setting, change the denominators and the motivation stream location setting the track locations 20 equals lines of 4. You have to add 4 in there, because 4 comes in traction, equal lines of 3, 3 equals lines of 7 set location. So it's very complicated when you get into formulas of equation through all levels of set location of seconds, minutes, and hours at high calculation setting to your sun in position location in its position line calculation setting, because it's traveling very fast and present in set location of future lines in position level calculations to a system, all connect to your thoughts and pattern line rotation. Very complicated stuff. Okay? Whoop, whoop. So now you understand how important it is to understand your seconds, minutes, and hours through your clockings at 24. Provision line cycles is we understand how to use the formulas of equation just through the sun. This is all through the sun. Now, every time you change your thought, it's no longer in set location. It's always different because your emotional system is different. Your thought is different. Your intelligence is different. Your frequency is different. Your energy is different. Your harmonics is different. So it's understanding this is all communication, all line setting, high position to its operation surface through its intention. Okay? All through force recognition of computer interface. Okay? Very complicated stuff. But you've got to get provisions of balance in your space and time. Okay? So amazing in communication line streams is all set location how you communicate with your son. Yes, my son, I'm the sun locations. I have identification number, but it's not for you to understand. It's so advanced, it doesn't exist, but it exists all at once when it needs to. That's massive equation through all calculation, through formula. Okay? But you have to understand the seconds, minutes, and hours. We're not in the hours, minutes, and seconds anymore, guys. So you have to learn how to use the seconds, minutes, and hours through a 24 clocking system. But you're always working with provision lines of 4/3/7, which is pi. You're always working with your 7, which is your body frame of 5 atmospheres of 12 and set locations. So getting into computer interface, this is what it is, interactions of your 24 clocking system. 24, 48, 72, and 144 is in the center, and 13 is here in set location. That's the clocking system you guys are at. And 12 is into outline communication. It's on grid, but you need it because it's your foundation of your chakra system that's connected to your higher self of your earth system. Understand? You understand the importance now? That's connected to all calculation setting to your DNA. It's set position of your 2 panels. It's set location of past, present, and future, and all set locations at all timelines all at once into yin and yang, a process of communication. Okay? But you have to understand how to use the computer interface to all line communications to all levels of clockings and set position and all calculations. 24. Now you can add the 12, right? So 24 is communicating with the 12 through computer interface that intersects its position location of track line. 2 track lines come out of position. 4 line division locations. Let's join the system line connections. All right, 24 is equal with 12. 2 communicates lines of 1 line rotation center. Comes back into the sun, protects the system location of a clock lines of a 24 signal. So in position, you come into 48. Those are the frames. Boxes, location setting. Opens all communication of theta. All positions alpha. All position of delta. All position locations in omega and communication. Setting track lines, calculating high interference of 13 triangles. Communication setting. Into 15 line setting locations. Into 16 position of square roots. And position of 17 line communications. 18 line setting location attraction. All through clocking. Okay? Very complicated stuff. Right? You know how many complication line screens has a high position location in your sun? It starts off at 3,000 purples. It has 3,000 purple line calculation stream locations and perceptions over pi. Right? That's 3,000 colors of your sun. 3. Right? So now you understand the triangulation and reset position of 3, line calculation of 6 and 9. And set location of 12 is here, set location. You bring the 12 up here, line connection high setting, set position of your 24 clocking system, 3 calculation line interference of 24, 24 sets position of 24 equals lines of 3, 3 equals lines of 24, 9 position location of 12, 12 line calculation, 12 line communication of 144, tracks and correlates sending interference of 6, location of 9, and set line conditions, comes into yin and yang. Done by equation. Okay? That's what we're coming into. So the 12 center is now here, but it's outline communication into its position of its earth. But the track line of the 12 foundation is your chakra system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Through, you guessed it, your constellation pass. Position, all levels of calculation. 3 line calculations, right? Position location. Flux capacitor. And set position to your constellation path. And set locations. Right? Orion's belt. 2 panels of communications, all levels, track lines of 4-line division and set position of operation setting. 4 correlations of panels, direct signals to its operation surface. And all set location. All right, done by equation. So I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions after that. All right. And so really understand the communications now, right? How to communicate with your sun, how to communicate with your moon, how to communicate with your phone, how to communicate with your computer, how to communicate with modifications, how to communicate with your glasses, how to communicate with your shirt, how to communicate with digital pad. All through light and all through dark. The provision cycle is positive and negative. You need both to turn on the light. But the balance of position location is keeping the light on in set location. It's like a flame. It goes out, right? What's like a flame? But each time you blow it, it doesn't want to go out. That's the balance. So it doesn't matter how much you blow, that flame is not going to go out. Only if you change your position of your computer interface to its flame. Getting control with your grounds, your powers, and your atmospheres. That's 3 set location, okay? Getting your control, how to use your earth, water, air, and fire is 3/4, okay? 4/3 equals 7. 7 equals over pi into a 24, 48, 72, 144 center in position of 13 track location. That's always going to stay there because 13 equals line communication setting and all track locations in position of 24. 13 is a higher self. 24 is your clocking system at that location. Okay? Done by equation. So complicated, isn't it? How to really connect, really connect with your 24 clocking system of computer interface through the compute system to your algorithm setting locations, guys, of seconds, minutes, and hours per frame, per channel, per screen, per box, per triangulation. Okay, it's all through your avatar equals GOD. Sim equals navigation. Higher self equals earth. Hooah! Okay, basic. So clocking division line screens is setting track location of coordinates. Setting north, east, west, and south. Okay, clocking system, right? Set position 24. Now you have the 12, right? 12 is here. Now comes up here, right? So you have 24 and set position of 13. Okay, and then you also have to add the 1, right? Because you're working with 12 now because it's your foundation graph line that connects to the computer interface location of northwest, south, and east through diamond core. Redirecting signal locations of balance and set position. Operation surface location system and a crop circle communication setting attractions. Magnetic highway information line calculation. Magnetic high calculation setting. Army universal communication setting attraction and set locations. Clocking line communication line interference. Position of 24. 24 line outline or interference. 48 comes in line calculation outer space. 40 comes in position. 24 is on standby. Sets high position locations. We change the 48 in high position locations. Coming in track to its communication center of its operation surface. Track to its communication high position locations. You come into number sequence pattern. It's bringing everything back into the number line communications of one number at its location. So get into that direction is really understand how to use your 24 clocking system, especially with the team. So in that correlation high interference, everything becomes a mechanism like calculation to travel through the higher self, through the avatar, to the sim. But you have to understand the balance position, the mediation graph line calculations, all levels of frequencies, position of panels, and track location to its all levels of operation center, and track to its communication system to all levels of operation. All through formulas, all through equation. All right. So 13 equals lines of 24. Okay. So that's the higher self, higher self. So 24 equals lines of correlation setting and position line calculations of its earth. Is center position to its equal line communication of its earth set location. Okay, earth, 24, earth, all right? So this is the track location high setting. That's the earth, all right? That stays within the earth. That doesn't go any beyond line calc. This is the clock comes at 24, setting track lines. 12 stays on set position, right? That comes into 1, 2, 3. You know, understand, right? You go line communication 4, 5, all the way up to 12 set locations. And now you run the 24. Now, when you work with the 24, you automatically come into what? The computer interface. So in 24 line here, in set locations, then it comes into a 48. Okay, so then you track location settings. So 24 equals lines of calculation of 0, 1, right? 40 equal location system is 0, 0, 1. Okay, 72 line communications equals lines of location of 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, and set position of 144 in set position of its operation is 0, 0, 0, 1 set locations. So set location of 0, 0, 0 is 3 communications. 3 equal lines of 1 in line position location of positive set location 1 xt thousandths, sets 4 over 3 equal lines of 7 and set location in travel calculations. Done my equation. All right, that's how it becomes. You're always working with 7 because that's you. You are the body frame of 7. 7 bodies of water, 7 bodies of clocking, 7 bodies of dimension, 7 bodies of time, 7 bodies of sun, 7 bodies of moon, 7 bodies of correlation, 7 bodies of computer interface, 7 bodies locations of interception of space and time. Okay, 7 of everything. Okay, but you have to do it through 24, 48, 72, and 144 of a 7 location. So 4 always equals lines of 3. 3 lines equal locations over of pi, set location line settings. 7 bodies of water tracks location system of 24, 48, 72, and 144. Once you get in 144, you're automatically in a crystal grid. Set locations and setting, you all put position track lines in high calculation setting, and all of the seconds, minutes, and hours, you come into its pi of its dimensional system of its location. Mega multi-pass. And then you come into its platform, so set position travels all through correlation. Hooah! Okay. Does that blow your mind? All right. How is everybody doing? I know you guys got a lot of questions. But see how that works? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. There's no thinking, no hesitation, no issues, no problems. All levels of balance because you do it through formation location, because you love what you're doing, you're becoming, you are, I am the inner child all the time. All the time. And you're getting into your imagination of phenomena. Okay, you start with the make-believe. The make-believe becomes its set location to its image that becomes its imagination. Imagination equals lines of calculation, high interference of navigation. Navigation connects the line calculation setting to its description. Description becomes in its story, comes in its frame, comes in its film projector, and set location line connections. Congratulations. You got manifestation, you got abundance through your connections of your inner child. All through calculation. Mega multi-pass. Okay. All right. So now we know what pi is, right? So that gives you a little bit of understanding, doesn't it? It's like, whoa, okay, general mind blown here, right? So that's how you start. You start with the seconds, you start with the minutes, and you start with the hours. That's how you break down the clock and the speed of where your sun is, how fast your sun is going, right? This is your sun. How fast is it going? It's that location. That's your sun. This is your moon. Right? See the sun and the moon come together through platform into pi. See? There it is right there. Boom. Okay. So it's split in 3 lines angles, set position of past and present to its future. All time lines all at once in a face recognition of space and time through correlation. Mega multi-pass. So once you have 24, 48, 72, 144 and balance of seconds, minutes, and set location lines of hours, you can go through platforms of communication. Once you get in those communication setting and all calculation line interference, you set up new platforms to create pi of division line connections and going through dimensional door settings and set location. Okay. Everything is literally an equation, literally very well explained. Oh, there you go. See, that's why you're in school. Okay. It's much easier, Moonchild, when you break it down through pi. Okay, this is pi. Okay, so you have to understand how to use it through square root. You have to understand how to use it through point systems. Okay, through triangulation. 4 over 3, right? 4 equals 3. Where's the 3? 1, 2, 3. Triangle. Where's the 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So that's the square root. Triangulation of the 3, line conjugation highest center location of 3. See the 3? 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. Right? Center position 2 panels and location setting. Sets position of center lines of all calculation line interference and solar graph calculation line system of heart, mind, and soul of 333. Okay? Mega multi-pass. You understand the important location setting, where it comes in all formation to a system, all through track line connections, right? So more you go to school, the more you understand the frequency. The more you go to school, the more you understand the vibration. The more you go to school, the more you understand the energy. The more you go to school, the more you understand the harmonics in set location, okay, of travel, okay? So now you understand the point system of its location center. It doesn't matter where you put 333. You can put 333 anywhere, but it all connects at all set location line frames and set location matrix string location of 3 line connections, right? 3 equals lines of 3, 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 3 equals lines of 3. It's all connected, right? It's all through a computer frame, graphing calculations, a computer interface, right? So if you want to put it together through triangulation of high calculation setting, you can set up pictures and images and light calculations, turn it into a black hole in set location. There's a black hole. 3 communication lines, you can set it into a trifactor calculation high interference into square roots and set position location of high calculation all line setting into a rectangle communication. You can set position of circle line communication of crop circles to 333, heart, mind, and soul, and track location. 1, 2, 3. Done. Okay? That's how you get into formulas of equation and set location at 333. Okay? See how I do it through an image and set location of clock lines? So clock line is 24, clock lines is 48, clock lines is 72, and 144 in the center. Travel communication lines, outline communication is security in position of panels, and travel communication. Okay? Done by equation. But you have to understand now how to use the computer interface to your 24, to your 48, to your 72, to your 144 center, and locations of your 13. 13 is never going to change, okay? Because it's your higher self. 24 is never going to change because it's your yin and yang, okay? So 48 is always in box. 72 is in a box frame of a computer frame set location. It's your computer set location. See? Box frame, computer frame. 144 is set locations to your crystal grid. And then set locations, so you take the 144 and you create platforms and set location. Once you get into that, you set up pi, a division of dimensional doors. So the connections of your higher self, your avatar, and set location of sim can travel through its dimensional space and time lock connections all at once in set location. Mega multi-pass. Okay, you see how that works now? You see how powerful it is all through clocking set locations. How you can actually come into platforms, how you can actually come in through pi, through division line connections of dimensional door settings, and all set locations are recharged. Everything through 24, 48, 72, and 144. If you go past 144, you're opening up higher levels of space and division of acceleration of space and time. You can travel through all position location high settings, and higher line position locations of universal locations of time. Okay? That's all it is. Balancing out an all set location. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. You're getting into a lot of settings here through all equations here. This is great. Love it. All right. So with the box B216, well, let's see. You got a box line connection high center, right? So in position location is 4. Okay. And you have to add the 3, right? Because I'm box triangle. So that's 4 equals lines of 3. 3 equals lines of 7 over pi in set locations, all right? That's the indication right there, right? Now, equal lines. So we got the positions, all levels. There it is, pi, okay? And set locations. Equals lines. So it's security of 2. in position of 1, in position of 6. So you bracket the set location of 2, 1, 6, right? So that's 2 in perimeter, in position of all levels in Pluto, okay? 1 position is a ground line, set position of 0 operations center, a crop circle set location. And setting line calculations of 6, which is your water containment center, and set location of travel settings, into your throw pattern, set position location of theta, and operations surface. 6 and 3 line calculation setting is the sun of operations system, equalizes this equation in projection and all levels of projecting high calculation setting and track location. Okay, that's the equation of box equals 216 of 6 over 3 over pi equals line calculation setting in 216 in traction, all through the sun in 3 set location. Very complicated stuff. Okay. So, it's really interesting too, because it really sets the tone, but you really have to understand how to use your 24 line. I know I just blew your minds away, but that's the whole point. But you do it through an inner child of your set locations. You're coming back to all formations of who you are, your original imprint of your system of memory. Okay? It's very simple to understand and do formulas equation. Anything you give to general, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, because there's no thinking. There's no process of thinking. Your mind is going too fast. So it's incredible when you come into that through equation. Okay? But you're always working with that. Always working with 7. That's never going to change. 13 is never going to change. 24 is never going to change. The only change is your thought, which changes what? Your space and time through pi through clocking. Okay? That's what changes. Your emotional changes so quickly in seconds, minutes, and hours, it blows you away. If you get a thought pattern, equal lines of intelligence, intelligence equal lines of position locations, all levels of formation, line connection, high setting, and set locations, and position. So 100,000 lines, okay, of thoughts, right? That's going through seconds, that's going through minutes, and that's going through hours per frame. So in set location lines that high positions, equal lines of correlating high interference, XT1000 comes in, right? Because XT1000 sets position as program setting, sets the location system, and that track locations. So that's 1 million units, 0 gravity, and 0 population line centers. 3 track location of grids, set position of 24 walking system, and set location to pi in traction. Okay, so that's 1 million. Okay, 1 million seconds per frame per thought. Okay, that's how fast you're creating thoughts per perimeter, per mile, per calculus, per route, per pi, through dimensional line connections of a 24 walking system of a platform communication setting and track location system to its dimensional door set location. Okay, mega multi-pass. So now you understand the provisions, how at all levels of set locations, how you're creating 24, 48, 72, and 144. All you're doing, everyone, is you're creating a crystal grid of a platform so pi can go on its set location so we can travel through its platforms and set locations. That's all it is. And when you're in the center position to its operation set locations, you can travel out to higher calculation, into other platforms, into higher line division, get out of 144 and go into 244 or 344 or 444 through clocking, because your emotional system is changing so fast in seconds and minutes and hours per frame. Okay, so it's very important you understand that. So in position of female in set location line system and all line communications, you're working with a triangulation first through a box, right? So you start with the triangulation because it's female equals male in set locations in all settings, and then you have north, then you have east, and then you have west, and then you have south, the diamond core set location of female line settings. So in line calculation setting, that's 3 equal lines of 4. 4 comes back in equal lines of 3 equal lines of 7 over pi in set locations. Mega multi-pass. So you're always working with that through provision, okay? Through male or female, through polarity of set location. Okay? It's about balancing out your yin and yang. And what do you have? 8-line system. See? See the 8? Boom! Done by equation. That's it. We're done. Woo! Great class. So, how does everybody feel about that now? Through computer interface, location of clock lines have a 24-line signal. Now you understand the platforms and communication setting, how it basically puts you in an operation server location of balance, all timelines all at once. It blows your mind, doesn't it? All through equation, right? So, yeah, but that's exactly what it is, my child, is because now the 12 is here. It's above the system, which controls the chakra system, which is in process of yin and yang through box or triangulation through box. You're always working with that, okay? Because that's how your universe connects with you through your algorithm, through box and shapes and letters, numbers and symbols, okay? So that's how this all works in set locations, right? There's so many computer line calculations, settings, and attractions. You have to really understand how to get in modifications. If you get a triangulation resets, there's a triangulation there, right? Here's a box locations, right? And here's a percentage locations. That is a clock. You're going, what? That's a clock? Yes, it's a clock. It's in a different division. It's in a different dimension. It's different parallel. It's in a different space of time through pi. But this is a clock. There's always a center in position, which is you. So you got to get in triangulation at 3 set point locations first. Understand the triangulation, which is box. So you know that's a female. And set location of box, which is a male. So communication line setting comes in set locations. And then you come into the box because you're male in set locations. Then you travel out in 3 set location line systems. Get in that position, 3 line calculation equals lines of 4, 4 equals lines of 3 equals lines of 7 over pi. All through clocking. Now, this is a clocking line, center line interference, a set position of travels in a 3-sector communication. This is sector, vector, and quad in line calculation string location. Direct and communicated line interference. And you say, well, where's the higher self? It's already in provision through the higher self and its avatar and its sim all together. So once you understand how to put that all together, it automatically becomes yin and yang. The process of the clocking system, really understand the 24-line setting. In position location, you have 12-line rotation, which is your outer line communication. 24 is the inner, 12 is the outer. Okay, so it's really understand how to use this in all set locations. Your systems through all levels of 3 clocking system, a triangulation of a box, line calculation system of you through a box, and triangulation high center locations in a 3 communication of 4 and 3 and over pi at set location of 7. All through triangulation of a clocking system. Okay, through percentage. Okay, mega multipass. Many pieces, I'll be here. Well, there you go. See, now you're understanding more of the conceptual location of clocking, how it goes, and all formation location of seconds, minutes, and hours. That's all you got to do is break it down, okay? And when you're communicating in all system location of track line calculations of 4, in position location of 2, in position location of 1, in position of lines of 3, in position location of 4, position location of 1. So it's really understand how to put position of track lines, balanced communication, setting all track location. Because if you don't have balance in communication in center location line settings, this is not balance. Okay? Right? But is it balance? See, I'm telling you one thing, but you're seeing another. Try to understand position location. Everything I do is balance. There's nothing off balance. Is this off balance? No. To you it is. To me, it's not. Right? So that's illusion. Okay? You have to get out of those old programs. Get a new position track lines. So everything that you do is balance. It's at location 24, 48, 72, 144, and 13 calculation of your higher self, your avatar, and sim. All right, done. All right, I'll see you guys in 5. Adios.